Good morning. Rough waves to your left at the ocean front and rain on the radar, but that's not the big story of the day either.
Yeah, just hours, we could be dealing with flooding to a degree that we haven't seen in years. Right now, schools are canceling classes, cities are shutting down, and states of emergency have been declared in several local cities.
So let's get right to the person that knows the most about this right now, Craig.
We've been watching, and I'll tell you again, when you talk about the tidal flooding, we came through what we got on Friday, and we saw the water up, certainly the usual places, and it was a little bit worse than just a typical flooding event. Friday, this will be a lot higher than what we saw on Friday, and in fact could be some of the highest we've seen in years for places. So we're watching that. Coastal flood warnings in place this morning. I do have a little bit of good news, and I really want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying here, because the good news is that the water levels that were forecast last night, we were looking at potentially reaching about 7.1 feet or so above the average of the lower low tides. That would have put us somewhere close to 5th or 6th on our all-time list. Well, this morning, the forecast has been lowered just a little bit, down about 5 inches or so from the previous. That would put us at 6.7 feet and probably around 8th or 9th on our all-time list of highest tides at Sewell's Point. So still potentially major tidal flooding, some real headaches across the region, but not quite as bad as it was looking last night and early this morning. That is some good news. We came through early this morning, just minor tidal flooding at 4.9, but again, we do expect major tidal flooding this afternoon and then moderate tidal flooding for tomorrow. That's at Sewell's Point, and you hear us talk about Sewell's Point. That is the measuring stick that we've kept all these records for decades and decades here in Hampton Roads. So that's the measuring guide for Norfolk and the surrounding area. Now up around York, we're still expecting major tidal flooding today and then minor tidal flooding or moderate tidal flooding tomorrow. So we're going to be watching that as well. The reason that the numbers have been lowered just a little bit is because we've seen more of a northerly component versus a strong northeast wind. When you've got the easterly or northeasterly winds, that pushes water into the bay. So because it's been more northerly, we haven't seen quite as much additional water coming in, and that's allowed those predictions to come down just a bit. We still have low pressure forming, coastal low that is going to remain offshore. That's going to provide the gusty winds and wrap rain back around the area. So the forecast hasn't changed much in terms of wind or rain. But again, those tidal levels, that's going to be the big story this afternoon. And we just got a gust of 40 miles per hour again at Duck, a gust of 32 at Oceana. Winds will continue to be gusty through the early part of the afternoon. Eventually, hopefully, things will ease up a bit. Temperatures staying today in the upper 50s to near 60. Keep those on, well, 2 hands, I guess, on the umbrella as well, with those showers coming and the wind.